After a long-awaited puzzle-solving adventure, we have returned for Beyond the Rift episode number 4, starring the one and only Mr. I'm a Cutie Pie, the wonderful, the ever-fantastic, the ever-lovable. I already said my name, so how you doing, everyone? Skara, joining me today, my lovable co-host. Skara, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm just as handsome, just as lovable, and I'm here all the time with Cutie. What? Come on, dude. It's my intro. You can't cut in. Anyways, that's me. I'd like to introduce our special guest, Caster, Captain Flowers. How you doing?
Hey, that's my line.
What's going on, boys?
Hey, dude, it's going good, man. But how are you doing? For the people that don't know about the what do you like to be called? The Captain Flowers? What is it?
You can call me whatever you want, Cutie Pie. I am distinctly honored to be invited on to Beyond the Rift with you and Skara here. This is going to be a good hour, man.
What a great guy, dude. The captain joining us. And you know, the only way possible for the captain to join us today, the magic of Discord, dude. Discord bringing us all together in this wonderful day and age. And it wouldn't be possible without him. You know what else they can bring together? Live question and answer at the end of the show. You guys got questions. We got answers. Get on that Discord. Ask them. We'll check them out at the end. But let's get it underway because we've been holding out. So let's go and start with the question. So question number 1. This one's going to be directed at Captain Flowers because he's our guest. Casting is often an underappreciated aspect of professional League of Legends. As a caster, how do you look to improve your casting ability?
Dude, the craft of casting is one of those things that people always ask me, and they're like, how do you actually get better? Like, what do you do? How do you go from being shit-tier caster to past shit-tier caster? And it's one of those things where I think there's just so much to it. Like, casting the game is sort of like playing the game, where you're never going to be perfect at it no matter what. Like, no matter what you do, you're never going to have a game where you're like, dude, I did everything right. That was perfect. And if you think otherwise, you're bad. Like, it doesn't work that way. You've always got something else. There's something that when you go back and watch it, you could say, yo, I could have done this better. This could have happened better. But for me, it's all about, like, you look at the cast, you go back and you watch it, and you're like, I thought this part in particular could have used some work, or I thought this part was really, really good. And for me, that's what I do. Like, when I go into a week, when I go into, like, especially like a bigger match, casting a playoff match or one of the big decider things from the regular season, I'm always thinking about what did I think went the worst in my last cast, and what can I do to change that? And I talk to whoever I'm casting with that day, whether it's like Kobe or Zale or Jad or Zyrene. I talk to them and I'm like, what do you think that I fucked up in the last cast? And how do you think that we can make that better? And how can I specifically do that working with you two?
How much work goes, because, I mean, I don't know anything about casting, so I guess I'll just use this to, just ask you questions. How much work goes into do you guys do, I guess you said you do, VOD analysis to see your casting, how you, I guess, went about it? What goes into it?
So there's a lot of different ways that we actually go through preparing and researching and getting ready for the next cast. One of the things that everybody does no matter what is we have big meetings as a team, as a broadcast team, about the games that are going to be coming up that week, like the big stories that we think are important, the things that we want to talk about, like what are the big talking points for this particular match, right? Like if you're going into a game between two teams that recently has been all about their mid laners, then we're going to have a mid lane focused cast. Like we're going to be talking about these guys all the time. Who's Roman? Who's getting solo kills? Who's doing that shit to put the team on their back? And those are the kinds of things that you talk about in the general story meeting, kind of just get that blueprint of where you want to go with it. And then what happens after that is it's all subjective. Like it's up to each individual caster what you want to do. Like if going back and watching the VODs of the last 3 games that those dudes played is going to make you be able to have a better grasp on what's going on in the cast and tell a better story with it, then that's what you do. Or if camping OPGG and waiting to see that player play some solo queue and see who's doing what in there works, you can do that. Or a lot of the times what you're also going to do, you get together with the dudes you're casting the game with. If I'm casting with Zyrene, we'll just go into one of the rooms at the Riot office and just start bullshitting about what we think matters in the game, what we want to talk about in particular. And that also goes back into the specific casting style of a thing. If I'm like, yo, Zyrene, I really want to work on this particular aspect of the cast. Like I want to tell the narrative better during like the boring parts, during those resident sleeper moments that the chat likes so much where both teams clear wards for 15 minutes. Then that's what we'll talk about and how we can effectively do that better.
Well, let me ask you this then. I guess this is, how much do you think as like a caster, what would you say is the percent for how important the caster is compared to how important the game? Like, how much do you make the game into the game that's being streamed?
See, that's one. I think that one's actually pretty subjective based on the viewer, because I've had a lot of people DM me on Twitter and stuff like that saying, "Hey, really enjoyed the cast today." Even though it was a game that didn't really matter for much, like maybe it didn't impact the standings at all, especially you get those towards the end of the season where you have a team who's like already completely locked into their spot in playoffs and a team that can't go to playoffs, but they're matched up against each other and the outcome of the game just really doesn't mean that much. But you still try to make that as exciting and engaging as you can for people to watch. Like you don't want people to watch a game that you casted and be like, boy, I really wasted an hour of my life sitting here watching this. Like, that's really not what I want from any of this. But at the same time, you're going to have a much more compelling game, and people are going to naturally want to watch something more. If you're watching, like, TSM versus Cloud9 for the top spot in the NALCS, that's going to be way more engaging than, like, TSM versus Liquid, where Liquid already can't go to the playoffs, and TSM's already locked in, and you're not really having anything shift drastically based on the outcome of that game. But I have been told by a lot of fans before, they're like, hey, I really enjoyed watching this game that you and Kobe did, and you guys made that cast a lot of fun, and I probably wouldn't have watched that game if you guys weren't on it. So while I think that the game itself probably has a greater command over more viewers as to who's going to tune in and who's not, I think that if you can build a reputation for yourself as someone who does make games entertaining, you can definitely pull people into caring about a game that they otherwise wouldn't.
So you'd say it's like 60% the game, 40% the caster?
I think that's a pretty fair number. That's fair.
40% the caster. All right.
Wait, what do you think about that, Skara?
I like the confidence. I don't know. I think it might even be more. You know what? I think that's pretty correct. I think if it's a really big game, it's probably like less of the caster, like 20%.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's a really like terrible game, you're watching like the first place seed versus like Team Liquid or P1, and they're just beating them up. It's a 2-0, like 2 16-minute games. It's terrible games. The caster's going to be really important, super important, because it's not a game you want to watch.
Right. If you're watching the World Finals, like, you're probably not going to be like, oh my God, Captain Flowers is casting this game. I can't stand this freaking guy. Like, I'm turning this shit off. Like, I don't even care about this game anymore. No, you're going to watch that game because it's going to be World Finals. It's going to be crazy. But just like you said, if you're watching a game that otherwise you're like, well, if the outcome of this doesn't influence anything or really concern me at all, then you're only going to watch it if probably like some of your favorite casters are casting it.
Right. And I think before a lot of people thought the casters don't really matter, but like that's like inherently not true, because I remember when Joe and D-Man used to cast everything League of Legends related earlier, and like yeah. I would like watch almost all their games, and when they weren't casting, I just wouldn't watch them. Up until Riot casters got better, I was just like, these are obviously the two best at the field. And it's like the same now. Like, I can't imagine what would happen if half of NALCS or like EU lost like Deficio and some other people. Like, I don't know who I would watch.
Wow, you just did Deficio and some other people, dude. You couldn't even bother to name the rest of them, dude.
What? I actually really like I super like Deficio.
Yeah, name someone else. Deficio and who else, Skara?
Like there's Medic, Stress just left, Kreppel's not there anymore. Who else is
guy, dude, this guy, come on, Skara.
I actually don't know.
Come on,
wait. Could you have said that by pointing you out?
Hell no, I don't know anyone. Yeah, it's just Deficio and I guess Shox, but she doesn't cast the game. She's just the host.
Shox is a host, dude.
Yeah, she's the host.
Facilitates the conversation.
Yeah, I don't know who else. Is Pulse still on there?
No, dude, Pulse is in Oceania casting the LPL.
Okay, I don't fucking know. Dude, I love EULCS though, so that's fine. Well, let's go on to the next topic.
All right, topic number 2.
The group draws are finally out, and NA got the best group possible for getting out of groups. What's the farthest NA any NA team is going this year for Worlds, well, I think we can all agree. You guys all agree they're gonna get out of group stages, TSM, right?
Oh,
Yeah. They better get out of group stage.
Wait, what do you mean, Scar?
We're gonna get memed on for life if they don't get out.
Wait, Scar, you don't think they can? You don't think they have like above a 50% chance of getting out of groups?
technically they should have like an 80% chance of getting out of groups. But I don't know, man. TSM has never been a great team at best of ones. I think they'll get out. They're above 50. You're right. They'll get out.
Yeah, I got money on them getting out.
Same.
Immortals, I'm a little worried about because they got thrown in the group with Gigabyte Marines, which I think they should be able to deal with. But they also got thrown in there against Longzhu, and literally just like what the teams are based on their mascots tells you how that's probably going to go. Because Immortals is like a guy with a sword and some gladiator armor, and Longzhu's a freaking dragon. And that's a big dragon. And I don't really think that Immortals is equipped to deal with that team. I don't really think anybody but SKT is equipped to deal with that team. So I think Immortals is going to have a bit rougher of a run.
Well, I mean, what teams, how would you rate like the chances for each NA team getting out of their group? So for TSM, you say there's at least an 80% chance.
I would say 80%, even with World Elite sliding in most likely in the last place group. I would give them about 70-80%. That's really good odds.
So IMT, what would you give them?
Okay.
Oh.
IMTs, see, here's what I think about IMT. Because if you look at that group, I think if you're smart, you're putting your money on Longzhu taking first in that group. So the rest of the bets is who's taking second. And I think if you just look at it with the three teams that's in there right now, Immortals should beat Gigabyte Marines. But who's going to go in there? Like, who's going to actually be that fourth team? I think will make a big difference. Because if you get somebody, like if you get Fnatic in there, Immortals versus Fnatic, that could be close, right? But if you get one of the other wildcard teams, it's not quite up to the same level, then I think Immortals should be able to grab second pretty easy.
I think I'll give it about 50%. Flip a coin.
50%.
I think they can get out. Yeah.
Right, what about C9 then?
They get put in like some terrible groups. They get put into either what, A or C?
Yeah, A or C is the only ones they can go to.
So C, the thing is, even if they slot into C, is a nightmare for them, and A is like a bigger nightmare for them. So I would say probably like 10%. They got really unfortunate with the draws. If they had been in the other two groups, it would be higher, but 10%, and I'm like pushing it. Like they should be like below 10% in my opinion.
So you have like almost no faith in C9 then?
Dude, I like C9. I actually think that like, especially Impact has improved a lot recently, but they have really unlucky groups, like super unlucky groups.
Yeah, I don't see them getting out of either A or C. Those groups are just pretty busted.
Man, you guys ain't real Americans, dude. Come on.
What do you think? Are all three teams going to get out of groups, Skeety?
Dude, from what I know, every year I'm like, dude, NA, this is the year for NA. They've been showing up. I get so hyped up. Every year it's the same exact thing too. The first week, it's just NA's going crazy. I'm like, oh my fucking god, wait, everyone's gonna get out of groups and we're doing it. And then the next week, everyone shits the bed, like 0 whatever, 0-8, 0-6. Everyone just fucking loses every game, and then no one gets out of groups. And it's like, wow, next year, dude. Can't wait until next World.
There's something about that weekend between week 1 groups and week 2 groups where all the other regions teams like look back and watch their VODs and figure out what went wrong and like update their strategies. And I don't know what we do, but we don't do that because our week 2 groups always goes to shit compared to week 1.
And they just celebrate. So like, hell, geez, we went like 8-2 this week. We're so good. And then the other teams are just like, so how do we get better? Yeah, party.
Dude, it just feels so hard. Yeah, I don't want to. I want to say just because I don't want to disappoint myself, so I want to say NA's never gonna make it out of groups. We're all just garbage and it's doomed. But I have faith that this is the year, dude. This is the year one of our teams gets out of groups. You agree with that, Scott? I think we can all agree. This is the year. At least TSM will make it out of groups, right?
One of our teams will make it out of groups. Yes. I agree. I already bet on it. I'm gonna dye my hair a different color if That's not true. It's probably like a hot pink or something. There's no way they won't make it out of groups. I already made a bet on it.
Yeah, I can respect
agree.
that. I wouldn't bet on that.
I'm not betting my hair on it. But
Yeah, I wouldn't bet on that, but I can respect that, Scar.
You guys don't have the faith that NA won't disappoint us this year?
Scar, it's been like 4 years of disappointment. There's only so much I can handle. Fuck that. I'm not betting anything on that. We'll go to
Eventually, you get conditioned for disappointment. You've got to somehow be unconditioned from it.
Dude, that right there is the truth, man. Scar, you should have gotten conditioned to it on Dignitas, because Lord knows I have. That shit, I've just become numb to it at this point. It's like, well, guess we're gonna shut the bed again, man. Whatever.
Dude, but you gotta dream big, man. Because if you don't, you can't just. That's just like, I can't do that, man. I gotta look at the sky and be like, I can reach that. Yeah. And then when I fall and get burned, I'm just like, oh, I was wrong.
Yeah, it's happened too many times. Fuck that. We'll go to the next topic. The Star Guardian Invasion mode is one of the first ever unique PvE game modes by Riot Games. Would you like to see more of these game modes in the future? So I'll start off by saying, I think that this was actually the best game mode that like Riot's ever done. Like they didn't pay me to say this shit, by the way. But like, dude, I fucking yeah, I gotta make sure to throw that one in there, because every time I talk about this shit, Cutie got paid to play. Cutie, they're paying you money to say this. I actually really enjoyed Invasion. Like the other game, Ascension, that shit's garbage. Doombots, it was like fun for one game and then it's whatever. Earth, it's fun for like a couple days and then it's whatever. But Invasion's like, if they built on Invasion and did a lot more with it, like, I just want them to make a fucking Riot Games MMO. Like, if they made a League of Legends MMO, I'd just fucking grind that shit for the rest of my life. So, I'm okay with this because it's one step there. But, Scar, what'd you think of it?
Alright, someone who usually never plays other games. Even Earth, it's like it's like I have to be like forced into playing. I played it like from with a couple people from my stream, and I was just like, oh, it's actually really fun. You know, like, it does remind me of like the MMO, the raid, the PvE raid content, and I think that it's actually really cool. I didn't expect it to be so much. You know, they actually spent a lot of time building it out. I thought it'd just be like a one and done kind of thing, maybe like one stage, 2 stages. There's like 6 different stages, a huge final boss. I thought they did a great job. I'd love to see more of this shit.
Dude, you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of playing Warcraft 3 custom maps with my buddies back in like high school and when I first went to college, which was just all that I did. I just played those all the time, like different mini game things in the Warcraft 3 client. That's where Dota started and everything else like that. But there were all these different kinds of games, and a lot of them were these like PvE type of experiences where you grouped up with a bunch of other randoms. And I mean, it was Warcraft 3 client, so it was always with like 250 ping, and most of your team didn't speak English, and it was a shit show, but it was a fun shit show. And that's what this kind of reminds me of, is just taking a step back towards that whole, everybody get together, you play a game mode that lasts 15 minutes, and it's this PvE experience, and I think it's super fun. Like, it's a super nostalgia trip for me, going back to like those Warcraft 3 days, and I sincerely hope that we do get more content like this, because I think it's super fun. I'm like you, Scar. I don't even play any of the other custom modes at all. I don't play Earth. I don't play Doombots. I don't play Ascension. I don't play any of that stuff. But this thing, man, this is seriously fun. I hope we get more of it.
Yeah, this reminded me, speaking of Warcraft 3, it was like Uther Party. I remember playing that shit all the time, and I just loved it. It just felt, I don't know, like, usually the game modes, they're just not fun because you're versus, like, stupid bots. Like, in these game modes, it actually felt fun because it was like, I was still competing against my teammates, but I was still like, because when you get a teammate that just runs into every fucking explosion and stuff and dies, dude, it's like fun to just ping spam and be like, dude, good fucking job juking all that shit. Like, this made me, I don't know, it made me enjoy just fucking around, and I don't really have that with League because I'm so competitive. Most of the time, I only want to play solo queue. Like, if it's not solo queue, if I'm not competing against someone, it just feels pointless. So, this game mode, yeah, if I get more of this shit, I'm going to be A-okay with it. And if I get more of my cat just knocking my webcam over, I'll be more okay with that, too. But, yeah, I think we can all agree, though, You guys all want to see this game mode again, right?
Yeah,
absolutely. Like more and more of this.
Okay, let me ask you: do you guys want to see a League of Legends MMO?
Yeah,
I would play a League MMO.
Dude, the thing is, all the MMOs suck right now that aren't like Final Fantasy or World of Warcraft, right? I really kind of wish, and whoever is there out there in the chat is about to tell me, no, dude, I love Black Desert Online. It's such a great game. Just shut up. It's not.
That shit's garbage. I played that shit for like so long.
Literally, all I've ever seen out of that game is people posting like extensively detailed shots of like their character creator they spent 14 hours in and then never played the game.
Yeah, their character creation is fantastic in that game. Let me throw that out there. I spent like a clean hour plus on that, but no, it really is like those two giants, and then there's really nothing in between. Like I really do hope someone comes in with a lot of money, maybe backed by Tencent, maybe with a lot of their own universe, can flesh out the lore. Maybe someone like Riot Games could like sneak into that hole, you know.
Yeah, if they made, like, I was talking with Lisa yesterday, if they made some shit like that, I would be fucking addicted to that. Like, I'd still play League, but I'd play the fuck out of that thing. Cause if they made, like, raid content not every week, but, like, every month, where it's just, cause you can do that like, from what I learned from playing this, is you could make raid content for this game, I don't know how, because I'm fucking stupid, but I'm sure someone at Riot's a lot smarter than me and can figure that shit out. And I'll just have like, if they made something super challenging that took like a week to complete, dude, I'm fucking addicted. I'm playing League of Legends fucking 24/7. I'm never sleeping. I'm streaming every fucking waking moment of my life, and I love it. So, right?
Dude, if they made a League MMO, I would actually just, after the cast, I would just start playing that shit on the casting computer. Just don't even bother going back to my apartment. Just sit there on the computer, just X out the League client, be like, okay, we're done with this for the day, and just start grinding right there in the arena.
Yeah, I don't know like any of the like logistics of actually making an MMO, so I'm sure we're all talking about it, but it'd probably take them like fucking forever to get that thing up and running, but dude, maybe in my lifetime, Riot Games will release something like that. I'd be a happy man. So,
well, let's start with the first step, which is another game. So, Riot, we're waiting, and then after that, the MMO, the second game.
Yeah. League of Legends 2, and then League of Legends MMO edition. Good shit, Riot. All right, let's go to the next one. Which is your favorite NA LCS caster to watch or work with?
Oh man, that was tricky. I've actually had so much fun like casting with everybody.
I'm gonna throw it out there. My favorite caster is Kobe. I'm so sorry, Flowers. It's Kobe, dude. I love Kobe.
Kobe's freaking great. Cool. Kobe's freaking great. Like I was actually, when I first got to LCS, I was actually surprised that when spring started this split, they immediately just threw me into LCS. I thought they were probably going to like start me out on Challenger or something else like that first. But week number 1, they're like, nope, day 1, you're out there, you're with Kobe. And I was super pumped because Kobe was always my favorite caster to watch too because he's so animated, he's so energetic. And it's like, hey, this is your first day of casting LCS and you get to cast with this dude who's like the coolest guy out there. That was awesome for me. Like, I had so much fun with that.
Yeah, Kobe's pretty good. For me, my favorite has to be I fucking forget how to pronounce Azazel, right?
Azazel.
Dude, I don't know why I said Azazel. I don't know why I thought that, but dude,
we all call him Azazel in the office because everyone thinks his name is that. So we just call him that as a joke.
Dude, I love Azazel. I don't know what it is about him. Like, I think it's just the fact that I like the way he casts, and I love the way, like, Twitch chat just, like, constantly memes his ass. So something like, just a combination of everything just makes it so fucking enjoyable to watch, like, hearing him and then seeing the chat. I don't know. I think Freak is not bad either. Like, I want to fucking hate Freak whenever I hear him, but then it's just like, you know what? I don't know what it is with he just has like something draws me to him even though I don't want to be drawn. You know what I'm talking about, Scara?
He's got that magnetic personality, dude. Like,
there you
I
go.
understand. You can't help it.
Yeah,
pulling you in.
There's something about it. I don't fucking know, man. But alright, let's go to the next one. It's been a recurring problem with ADCs that they're pretty much tied to their support by a leash. If an AD ever becomes strong enough alone, they get sent on another role on the map. Is there any solution to create more individual ADCs?
So wait, does this mean like ADCs that go in solo lanes or like that don't have their support?
So what I was saying with this question was, I'm curious if you guys think there's a way that ADs can be like more or less dependent on their support, or someone else, like more individualistic as a champion without being sent to other lanes or other roles.
So you don't want like AD carry class champions to be mid laners and top laners like Lucian or whatever, but you want them to still be played bot lane with a support champion in lane, and then as the game goes on, the support doesn't just sit on them and shield them.
Exactly. Is that possible?
I don't think that's possible. Like
not with Ardent Sensor existing, you can't just press E for 12 bajillion gold efficiency.
Yeah, the thing is like, the only way you could get something like that is it has to have a terrible laning phase so it doesn't get played in a solo lane. So you have Vayne. And Vayne's so terrible that she can't be played in she could maybe be played top, but she's terrible top. And then she's bad bottom. So like, you do have that playstyle where you're not tied to your support because you can just split push and stuff, but that doesn't really happen. Like, I hate the fact that Lucian and Ezreal have gone into solo lanes. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but that shit, like, I love playing those champions, and I think their playstyle is super fun because it's not farm for 30 minutes and then have an Ardent Sensor just follow you around the entire game. Like, I don't like that playstyle. I hate that they've gone into solo lane, but I have absolutely no idea how you would stop that. Like, the only way, I guess, is to make mid laners so strong that they can kill ADs, but
just make everybody a Syndra and just instantly press R if you're an AD carry and just kill your ass as soon as you walk in the lane.
Yeah, but even then, like, I'm pretty sure, like, Lucian dumpster Syndra, right, or no?
Yeah, especially, it does really well, and then, like, you Shrinker, so.
Yeah, that's why I'm not really sure, like, balance-wise, what they could do, other than, I guess, making Assassins meta, but even then, Assassins have trouble in lane, and they're just gonna get smashed by Lucian or Corki. Because, like, you can't play Zed or shit against them, right? Or
nope.
Yeah, I don't
know. I think it would help this situation if we bopped Ardent Sensor. Like, bopping that out of top tier support item, just getting rid of that thing will help a lot for the tied to the hip thing, I think. The more supports you get in there that are like the playmakers, the Rakans, the Alistars, the ones that want to actually get stuff started instead of just sit on their AD carry and press E, like, I think that'll make it a little bit better. But in terms of alleviating it entirely to where the support goes and becomes his own entity that's not just tied to the most valuable character on the team that's usually an AD carry, I think you'd need like a major gameplay overhaul almost to change that.
Yeah, because I've been thinking about this a lot recently, and it's just like, I feel like when ADs get to a point where they're like strong enough to, I guess, be self-sufficient, they pretty much always just end up going into a solo lane. So I feel like it's an inherent problem with the role. Like, did you see that? You see that Hashinshin balance talk on YouTube? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Kitchen with the
yeah. Dude, people laugh at Hashinshin all the time, man. This man writes like 5-page essays. Like, he's writing 5-page essays on like the forum board about like this guy is an innovator. This guy sees into the future, man. Like, I want to see more melee carries. Like, how do you guys feel about that? Like, I want to see melee carries being played, but I have no fucking idea how it would possibly be implementable.
I don't think it's ever going to be a thing with the way League of Legends works. Because you look at Dota, right, where melee carries are actually a big thing, and you've got stuff like Jug that's a really popular pick that gets played into a lot of different compositions and has like a lot of different ways that you can be successful with him. And the reason I think a lot of it works in Dota is because the game doesn't have the instant, like, kiting that League of Legends does, right? Like, we have 0 turn speed, and you have a lot of ways to just, like, kite back, and the range is so important. Whereas in Dota, like, later on in the game, the turrets don't do fucking anything. Like, it's way less even than the late game turrets do in our game. Like, you just watch a guy take a bath in the turret shots, and he's like, oh, this feels good. And it doesn't even matter. Like, he just gets up there and smacks the shit out of it. Plus, you've got all these different super long range abilities you can gauge on guys from, like, a million miles away. I just don't think that the way the games are designed allows League of Legends to have melee carries function. I mean, in Dota, you've got, like, Black King Bar and stuff like that can make you immune to a lot of different kinds of CCs, and you've got all these broken effects that you can use on your carry, and items that can get him to, like, 1v9 God status. Whereas League of Legends much more revolves around, like, a full 5v5 coherent team effort. I'm not saying Dota doesn't. Don't put me on some Dota subreddit flaming me saying Dota's a 1v9 game. But if you look at, like, the gold disparity in Dota, right? Like, the super hard carry on a team in a game that they win, in a long late game, will have, like, 40,000 gold, and the position 5 support will have, like, 5K. He'll have 8 times his economy. Whereas in League of Legends, the difference between the support and the super hard carry would be, like, double the gold if he was lucky, right? So you just pour so much more of the potential resources into the carry, and you make these melee guys viable. But in League of Legends, like, you have to have the range, I feel like.
Yeah.
All right.
What are you gonna say, Sky?
I'm gonna throw this out there. If you want melee bruisers to come back, one of the things you can do, well, aside from
Wait, I thought we were talking about melee carries, like Master Yi's and shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Let's say same thing. Okay, if you want those coming back, Master Yi's to come back. Outside of, like, obviously just randomly buffing them, I think one of the things that's always been a problem has been exhaust. Exhaust plus if exhaust just, like, let's say you just threw out exhaust, it just doesn't exist anymore.
Okay.
All those melee carries, the bruisers, the assassins, all of them will rejoice because exhaust is, like, how they get shut down. Exhaust and shields. It's like let's say Sensor gets nerfed. It's gonna get nerfed, right? They're not nerfing it because it's Worlds, but it's gonna get nerfed, like, literally the patch right after Worlds. So it gets tossed out. The shield supports become worse, and it's like, okay, well, let's say exhaust somehow just stops functioning. Like, you can't pick it anymore. I think without exhaust, you can actually run probably a lot of different melee comps. It's just with exhaust, it's super difficult.
Right. Like, even, like, you watch pro play and AD carry gets exhausted after he tries to, like, you see a Lucian dash in and try to, like, shoot somebody and he gets exhausted. So then he immediately has to, like, the whole team has to regroup and, like, allow him to peel backwards because he now put himself out of position to get that exhaust. Whereas, if Master Yi alpha strikes in and then gets exhausted, he's just dead. Like, he's not going to do anything. He's just a big potato at that point. They're just going to chop him up into French fries. So you've got to find some way to take the risk versus reward of a melee carry and not have the risk just smash the reward, because that's what it does right now with stuff like exhaust existing. And I agree.
Yeah, like, I don't feel like there's anything wrong. So I don't feel like there's anything wrong with Lucian being middle, aside from the fact that I want to play Lucian myself, so I want him to be a bot laner. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's just, yeah, like, ultimately this game, I feel like it makes you, like, the best decision is to pick something with range. Like, if you're a carry, you want to be ranged. And, like, if you're a tank, you probably, if you could have, like, Gnar as, like, just a super tank type of shit, like, you'd want Gnar every game because that champion's ranged. He's tanky as fuck. He can do, like, all that bullshit. Like, being ranged is just such an advantage that it's just so hard to overcome it as a melee champion. Like, I just don't see, like, yeah, when I play AD and when I play against, like, a Master Yi, it's like, this guy's fucking useless, dude. Like, even if he gets 20 kills, I'm never like, this game's fucking over, man. I can't beat Yi. He's got 20 kills. It's like, you have to go in melee range. You're going to get CC'd and die instantly. Like, you're going to die as soon as you come into the fight. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You have to pray to God that, like, someone fucks up and you can maybe pop off, but yeah, I don't see that happening. Like, I play a lot of Xin Zhao too. Like, he got a rework or whatever, or he got, like, a slave buff or some shit on PBE, which I'm pretty hyped
stabbing move now.
Yeah, I'm hyped up for that. But, like, every time I play Xin Zhao, I just fucking hate myself because it's like, God, man, if I just pick something that wasn't, like, I can't carry with this fucking melee shit. Like, if I E in, I'm fucking dead. Like, if I E in and I don't get a 5-man knockback, and then my team doesn't collapse instantly in, and then no one uses any CCs on me, we probably lost the fucking fight.
Yeah, like think of all the best like melee bruisers. They can all split push. They're all stupidly taking like Jarvan and can initiate the start of the team fight, or they have like some super defensive steroid or like Camille ulti or Jax E so that like and Jax ulti so that they don't get blown up instantly. I think the Xin Zhao thing is great. Did you see what his ult does actually?
Yeah, dude, his ult is sick.
Yeah, I think it can block Karthus ulti too. So it's like a thing in front of him that if you're outside of the circle, you can't deal damage to him, right? Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like a 350 range circle around him after he does his ulti, and any source of damage coming from outside of it from a champion can't hit him.
Yeah, and that's that's what he needed, right? Like, because when he went in, he just died. He can't get out with Sins out. But now you just stay in there and you just like want to be like scrapping out one person.
Yeah.
Plus, it extends the duration the more he attacks. So if you're in there with some like goofy ass devourer, full attack speed, Blade of the Ruined King shit build, and you just keep attacking over and over and over and just stabbing these guys, you're gonna get like 5 seconds to that thing.
Yeah, like I know a lot of people fucking hate Yasuo because of Windwall, but I feel like Windwall, like for this game, Windwall is like the only way that you can really make a melee champion fucking useful, because that's the only way that stops them from getting blown up instantly at like the start of the fight. So I really like that Yasuo's getting like a Windwall type of effect. But I also am not sure how I feel about it, because if he's like OP as fuck and I have to deal with Yasuo just like, I fucking hate Windwall, but I can understand I can appreciate the design behind it to make it what it is, but I fucking hate that ability. And I hate that Xin Zhao gets that too, so I'm excited to play that, and maybe Riot will release more melee champions with Windwall effects. Hopefully not, but yeah, I could see melee champions if they have that shit. They could probably carry with that, or like some fucking CC immunity, like Olaf. That'd be cool too.
Yeah. You pretty much have to have a get out of jail free card like that, right?
Yeah, if you don't if you don't have that shit, then you just die instantly. Like if you don't have it's not even close. But let's go to the next topic. Last month, League of Legends was dethroned as the most watched game on Twitch by Battle Royale game PUBG. Should people be worried that this is a sign of League's decline? I'm going to start off with saying that's not the problem. The problem is we got people like Scar now putting in fucking full-time effort to help the League of Legends scene out, dude. League of Legends is going to die because of people like Scar. Like, just remember that. Just everyone watching this, if League of Legends dies, it's because people like Scott. I'm out here on my grind 10 hours a fucking day. I'm repping League of Legends. I'm trying my fucking heart out. And then I got slackers like this guy.
Dude, come on. I put in like 42 hours a week. You put in like 60, man. This is not fair. I actually do think it's funny that people come up to me and say this. I just think it's been a while since there's been a big game. And people really forget like that there's life outside League. And so when someone does come in with like this sledgehammer and beats League off the pedestal, which by the way, they're still second, right? Like they're still fucking monstrous. They beat League off and people are like, oh my god, what does this mean? It's like, oh, it means that there's another game that's like good, you know? It's good and it's popular. And I think I think nothing but good things for PUBG and I don't think it'll affect League at all.
See, I'm beginning to feel like every time there's something that threatens, quotation marks, League of Legends, it's starting to turn into those like Mayan doomsday prophecies. Like, people were originally scared at Y2K because they're like, all the computers are going to turn on us and there's going to be Skynet and you better fucking go live underground and all this shit. And in 2012, people thought there was going to be a meteor or something. I don't know. I didn't really look into it that much. People always come up with weird doomsday shit for everything, whether it's the world's going to end or like League's gonna die or all this stuff. Like, I still remember back when League first started, back in 2009, when we had all our like pizza feet champions and goofy looking stuff and 19,000 brushes in the jungle, that everybody was so like, oh yeah, League's never gonna get off the ground, dude. Han, that's the spiritual successor to Dota right there. And sure enough, Han died and then League kept going.
Wait, come on, I played Han.
I played Han too, but we were like two of the only people left that probably played it.
Yeah.
Like, the Han died, and then so League goes on. And then you've got like, oh no, dude, once Dota 2 actually comes out, they're going to have their own real client now. It's not just going to be a Warcraft 3 add-on, then League's going to die. I mean, Dota 2's done really well for themselves, but League ain't dead. And then Overwatch came out, they were like, this is the League killer, dude. This shit's going to take you guys out. And then sure enough, League's not dead. And then now it's like, oh, PUBG, you guys are fucked now. I don't think so. I don't know about that one, Kev.
Yeah, like, I think PUBG, like, I've played PUBG. I think it's fun. Like, I mean, I'm bored of it now, so I don't play it anymore, but like, it's the same thing as when Overwatch came out, it was like higher viewership than League and all that bullshit. But like, after a while, I just got bored of Overwatch 2, and it's just like, well, guess I'm gonna go back to League. Like, something about League, like, I mean, it's not so, it's the fact that they update the game. Like, people hate the fucking changes that they do, but thank God that they do these changes, because it makes the game interesting to play. Like, God, I play so many different games, and what kills me the most is I'll love the game, I'll get to the end of it, and then I'll uninstall it because it's like, well, guess I beat the game. There's nothing else to do. With like League, it's always like, it's a competitive game, one, which is super fucking important because you always want to be the best. Or I guess some people don't want to be the best, but you always want to try against your opponent. And then it's always different. It's not always different because this art and censor bullshit's still going on. But like, when the mastery changes come out, like, that mastery change, that shit's gonna be fun as fuck. Like, I can't wait to figure that shit out. Just try different things out. Like, just fuck around. Maybe I'm just gonna feed my ass off even more than I do already.
Everybody's gonna feed their ass off.
Yeah,
that's
it's just gonna, that's the fun of it, is that, like, learning experience. That, like, fresh, new take on the game is like, wow, this is awesome, dude. We're all learning together, and it sounds really stupid when I say it like this, but that's what makes this game fun, is like learning and just figuring out what's good, what's not. So I love League. I feel like PUBG, I don't want to say that, I mean, it'll eventually drop off, because, I mean, it's fun as fuck. I love playing that game, but like, I don't know how much they update it regularly, and I don't know how competitive the game... I mean, people tell me it's super competitive, but I mean, I've never watched any of the tournaments and stuff. Have you guys watched any PUBG tournaments?
I haven't watched the tournaments. I've watched, like, top-level streamers and shit, but that's about it.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing.
Okay, yeah.
But, see, here's my issue with it. Because PUBG... People always, like, I mentioned this earlier, where people complain in League of Legends. Like, remember back to lane swaps in League of Legends, where people just, for 15 minutes, did nothing but spam Resonant Sleepers because they got so bored watching lane swaps because it's just the same thing happens every game? Mm-hmm. Like, from what I've seen of PUBG, like, there's a couple different ways you can play it, right? You can just throw yourself down into the middle of wherever everybody else lands and, like, land in a prison or a school or something and probably kill yourself within 3 minutes trying to find a gun and, like, cheese kill somebody at the start. Or you can, like, land in an isolated spot, you can slowly work around and methodically loot and build up resources and get yourself in a spot where you have a legitimate chance to win the game in the late game. And in a competitive scenario, people are almost always going to opt for that long-term, better payoff, slow and steady type of approach, just like they did with lane swaps in League of Legends. And I don't know if a community of people, speaking about just Twitch and people watching games in general, that got bored watching lane swaps for 10 minutes is going to watch people loot for 30 minutes and then shoot each other for like 5. Because that's what I've seen from some of the like top levels of PUBG, is it's like loot, shoot, and then more looting, and then a little bit of shooting, and then more looting, and then you like shoot the last 3 guys at the end.
Yeah, like PUBG, when I played it, it was super fun for me, because what I do is I just always drop at school or like Pachinki, which are like populated areas, and I just go into a death match and try to fucking win out. And then if I lost, it's like, well, that sucks, dude. But like, eventually I got to a point where I was like, you know what? This is stupid as fuck. I'm going to start trying to win. So like, I just dropped for like a vehicle. I'd look around for one. I'd get in a vehicle. I'd drive to the opposite of where the plane went. So I'd go to like the middle of fucking nowhere. And then I just hug the blue circle until the end of the game. And then I get 1 kill and I win. And it's like, yeah, dude.
Right.
Yeah, like,
is this a compelling viewer experience, though? Watching Cutie Pie sit on the edge of the blue circle and then pop one guy at the end.
Dude, like, that, yeah, that's the thing, is, like, I just don't know from, like, a competitive, like, again, I haven't watched competitive, so maybe there's a lot more stress to it. I'm dumbing down the game a lot, so excuse me if that's happening. From what I've experienced, you pretty much never want, like, there's no reason to go into a fight because it's 50-50. Like, if they get the jump on you, you just lose, and there's nothing you can do about it. So, like, you might as, like, even in competitive, you want to be as risk averse. Like, you want to hedge your bets and make sure that you have the best chance of winning, and that's probably not going to fight anyone. So, I don't know, man. I can definitely see it taking off as a competitive game, but I don't think that it's going to dethrone League. Like, League just has too much shit going. Like, League's just too fucking fun. I don't know how else to put it. League's just too fucking fun. But, Sky, you've played PUBG a little, right?
Yeah, like 1 or 2 days.
What do you think of it as a competitive esport?
I don't see it, but there's enough populated around it for there to be a scene. But it's just weird. Like, having to balance around people in the game is very strange. I think the game itself could do a lot with like a more competitive format. Like, let's say you're able to queue up for like a thing once a week where you bet stuff. Like, you bet like I don't know how they do currency in that game. You get like keys, right? Or you get like
BP and you can spend it on chess, I think.
Right, exactly. It's like when you go in and there's like a fee for going in, and then like you win stuff. Like, making it more competitive that way. I did be able to see like, okay, well, like, how is this game? Like, I want something to count, right? But at the moment, it doesn't feel like there is that kind of like competitive urge to really win outside of just like to win, you know?
Yeah. I mean, so let me ask you guys this. Do you think that PUBG will kill League of Legends?
No.
Do you think PUBG will be tied with League of Legends?
Actually, no. Not in 5-6 months from now.
Are we talking like esports or Twitch viewership or what?
Esports, hell no. There's no...
Yeah.
I don't want to say there's no fucking way, but like Riot Games, like, I mean that they're a billion dollar company. If PUBG ends up like being at the same level of esports as something like fucking League of Legends, dude, even if it becomes something like Overwatch, I'll be like, wow, dude, like, I was fucking wrong about this game, dude. Like, this is the future. But like, yeah, just viewership wise.
Just viewership wise, here in a few months, I think it'll probably stay like up there back and forth with League for the top spot for a little while. But if you look at it 6 months from now, I don't think it'll still be at that height. I think something else will probably come along and like pull away some of the bigger viewers. I still think there's some of the like big streamers that stream a lot of different games still stream a lot of PUBG, don't they?
Yeah,
like,
there's like huge variety streamers like Summit. I think. Like, is Dr. Disrespect considered like a variety streamer? I think
I don't
so.
He streams different stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's what I want to say. Like, a lot of variety streamers are streaming PUBG right now because it's great to stream, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a great game. Like, you get all sorts of great moments with it. Like, chat loves to watch it. Everything's great. But I feel like as you lose some of those guys, like as more new games come out, as there's more stuff around that they end up eventually drifting off towards, that's going to obviously hit the viewership a little bit. And then, I don't know. It's kind of like what Cutie was talking about, where part of what's fun about League is that it always stays fresh in a way. And I don't know if PUBG will also be able to do that. I'm not saying that they won't. I'm just saying it's a question mark ping for me. So I don't know if that'll work. I don't see PUBG like spiraling down into the 2,000 peak viewers trenches or anything, but I don't see it staying at the very top.
All right, fair enough then. I'll conclude with this. What would you rather play, League of Legends or PUBG? I'll go with League of Legends.
I love League, honestly. Not paid to say that. I love League.
Yeah, let me. Are any of us paid to say that?
Nope.
No, dude.
Right.
I'm only paid to talk about League on esports stuff. This is not esports, so.
All right, perfect then. Let's go to the next topic. If you had to convince someone to watch League of Legends gameplay that you're casting, what would you say, Captain Flowers?
Oh man. Okay, wait. Am I convincing a person who like already watches League of Legends, or am I convincing like a total random noob? Like,
You're
My
convincing someone that thinks PUBG is a more competitive esport than League of Legends.
Oh,
What would you
Just
tell
him
them?
I'd tell him there's no looting phase. Come watch this. All action all the time. Let's go.
What would you? I mean, for I guess someone that's not into or like video gaming in general, what could you say to them to try to entice them into watching some Captain Flowers?
What I usually, like, the way I described it to my family, because, like, when I first got into this, you know, I come from rural Ohio where there's not really a video game scene or anything even resembling any shit like that. So I come from there. And so a lot of people in my family, and not just my immediate family, but like, you know, aunts and uncles and cousins and stuff like that, people didn't really know what it was, what I was doing with like commentating games and stuff. So the way I explained it to them, I was like, just think John Madden, but for video games. And the video game is like this game that involves both strategy and like individual player skill. And so I try to just describe it to them as a competitive team-based experience, but it's a video game and we have commentators for it. And the worst part was whenever I described it to them as I'm like John Madden of video games, they always thought that meant I was going to draw on the screen. And I really wish that I could. I really want like our next big spectator update, if we ever get one, to include a drawing on the screen tool. Because you don't know how much happier that would make me as a caster to be able to like during a replay just draw a circle around the guy and put some big ass arrows on there as to where he's going to go and how he's going to get him.
Dude, that would actually be pretty cool for like a viewer. I'd fucking like that because yeah, they have the like board after the game where they start analyzing it. If you could do that in game, that would be fucking legit. I would like that a lot. That's a good idea. Sky, let me ask you then. If you had to describe League of Legends, how would you make someone watch your stream that doesn't know what League of Legends is?
just to watch because I'm playing League.
Yeah.
Not me? Okay. You should watch League of Legends because it is, in essence, a team-based game where you fight to the death. That's my draw.
That's fucking awful. No one's gonna want to watch that.
That's the most vanilla, generic thing I've ever
Yeah, no one's gonna want to watch that shit. Come on, dude.
You put
Now
me
we
on
know
the
a star
spot,
is
dude.
not an advertising, dude.
Yeah, come on. I mean, I have no idea how I could, because whenever I try to describe League to my parents, it's just like, it's just a fucking video game. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. It's a fucking video game and I do shit and stuff happens, dude. Like, I don't know how I could describe it to, like, your average person to make them want to watch me. Like, wow, that sounds, sign me up, dude. That's killer. Like,
It's hard.
Yeah, like, trying to entice someone, team-based gameplay, tactical, like, knowledge that's just being all this bullshit. No one gives a fuck about it. It's like, dude, I want something real, cutie. Give me something juicy. And I mean, I can provide that on the stream sometimes, but you know, I can't do it all the time, so I don't know how the fuck I could get someone to watch my stream. Feels bad, man. But
It's tricky, dude. Back when I first, when I first got to be, when I got the thing where they're like, hey, we want you to come be a professional caster for the LCS, like, my dad started watching some of the games more to try to understand the game and, like, what I was doing. And one question that he asked me, I'll always remember because I thought it was just so goofy. Like, he was watching a pro game. He was watching a game from, like, Worlds. And he was like, these guys are the best in the world, right? I was like, yeah, these guys are, like, the best players out there. Only the top teams get invited to this event. He's like, these guys don't seem very smart. I was like, what are you talking about? He was like, you got this guy and this guy shooting each other next to each other, like, in this area, and one guy walks into a bush and the other guy just acts like he doesn't know where he went. It's like some Bugs Bunny cartoon. And I don't even understand what I'm watching. I was like, when you go into the bush, you can't get seen. It's actually a thing. Like, you're not allowed to see the other player in the bush. He's like, oh, okay, I just thought he was so stupid. He didn't know where he was.
yeah, I know that feel. When I was in the LCS and like my mom would come to watch me and she just like asked me a lot about the game, like what what are you? I'm like, I'm that champion right there, and she's like pointing at a creep. Is that you? It's like, no, mom, I'm that one right there. And she's like, but then who's that? It's like that's the creep, mom. That's the thing that I kill for good. Like having to try to describe that shit to like someone that doesn't know about the game is just like, I love my mom, but it's just like, it's just too fucking hard, man. I can't do it. But we're gonna move on because we have the most important topic here, ladies and gentlemen. This is the topic that the people come for. This is the topic that I know Scar loves because this is this is the Discord question and answer segment of the stream where Scar is real hyped up for it. People got questions.
Hyped, baby.
Yeah, people got questions. We got answers. So we're gonna start it off. Let's begin with a nice little scroll up to the ask questions here. Sex Panther. Oh, this is a good question. I'll start off with this one. Sex Panther wants to know: will Delta Fox go to Korea to train and finally win a game? So this one, I'm imagining we can all choose to take a part of this question. I'll say that I asked us to go to Korea, but everyone else declined. So.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I asked us to go to Korea as well, but honestly, Cutie just said he just couldn't give up living in Maryland.
Dude, come on, man! You can't throw me under the bus like that. No, I mean, I think the Delta Fox run is a little over. Like we got our 0-10.
Yeah, now watch us competing for the international of the year.
Yeah, maybe we'll compete for that, but probably
I believe in Delta Fox. You guys can do it.
Dude, you should
just gotta believe in yourselves. Believe in the me that believes in you.
You got a lot of faith.
Yeah. Me, AD Mid Jungle Top wants to know at Captain Flowers, do you guys have Twitch chat while casting?
No, we do not have Twitch chat while casting.
You guys don't open your phone and look at Twitch chat a little bit, or no?
No, dude, not during the cast. You gotta stay focused. You gotta stay zeroed in on that shit. Now, granted, in that 5-minute break between the games, like when we toss to analyst desk, I go on Twitter and I shit post with people and I talk about stuff. But during the game itself, nah, it's all in the game. All in the game.
All right. Let's see. My man wants to know. Oh, we're gonna get this question out of the way real quick. Delivio wants to know: double lift or I'm a cutie pie? Captain Flowers.
One of those two names has invited me on his show. One of them has not.
So that should give you your answer, Delivio.
I was gonna say, take that as you will.
Milknoid wants to know: what makes somebody want to go into casting instead of going pro or doing a normal person job?
A normal person.
Holy
okay.
Yeah.
Well, as for the going pro, I'm a Skarner one trick. What the hell kind of a pro league or pro team wants a Skarner player on their team? Get that shit out of here. I knew that was going to happen. As for getting into casting, it's just something that, like, I don't know. I graduated college. I was looking at different stuff that I wanted to do. I hadn't really found anything that's like, yeah, that right there, that's what I want to make a career out of. And so I was just kind of like looking around at a bunch of different things. And I always liked, you know, just entertaining people, like making people laugh, having a good time, like creating an experience for other people, whether I was like, even when I was in school and I would do my like class projects, I would always try to make them fucking entertaining. Like I wasn't going to get up there with a piece of paper in front of me and read, the Civil War was bad. Many people died. I would do like a skit or some shit, man. Like I was always just trying to entertain people. And so that combined with a love of video games, like my friends were like, why don't you try to get into like something on air for League or do something like that? Like try to stream. But my internet was super shit. So I was like, well, if I can't stream, what can I do? And so they were like, give casting a try. And so I just kind of went out on a limb and I was like, okay, I'll probably get laughed out of the room, but hell, why not? Let's give it a shot. And then I ended up here talking to Scar and Cutie.
That's good stuff. My man Shy Frog, he asked, what do you think of EULCS splitting into 4 regions? We talked about it last week, but I guess he wants to know Captain Flowers' take on that, if it happens.
Yeah, I saw your conversation with Pobe about it, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little skeptical because I think one of the biggest problems people had this year with the EU system was you had the top teams were in opposite groups, right? So for the majority of the split, you didn't get to see the top teams play against each other. It was only during like that mix-up week. And I don't know all the details about the EU one, but I'm going to assume if they're in different leagues that they will play each other at some points, and that's when you're going to get to see the main teams compete. But if you've got like 4 different leagues, then you're probably going to have the equivalent of like mid to lower tier LCS teams and like probably even some challenger team equivalents in those, and probably like one good team or maybe 2 in each region. And so those are going to be the games that everybody looks forward to the most. But then the real hypey games are only going to come when the regions come together. And I think that's a little sketchy.
This question at Scar, Martel wants to know, did you guys originally want to get Freak on the show but had to settle for Captain Flowers?
What?
Under the bus I go.
Oh my god, no, dude. Captain Flowers is literally the first. I was like, I want someone interesting on the show. I was like, what about someone who works at Riot? And I thought like Captain Flowers first. It's because honestly, like I know Flowers from like outside of the show, and I've talked to him before, not only on the desk but also because like we've hung out before in the past. So he was my very first option. He was not second choice.
My boy Scar.
That's
my
a good
dude.
save, Scar. I like that one. Kozan wants to know, since you guys played Dota 2, what do you think of it compared to League? So you played Dota 2 Captain Flowers or no?
Yeah, I actually played a lot of Dota. The Dota and Dota 2.
Oh, okay.
But I actually really like both games. I think that they offer different things. Like I'm not one of those people that's like, League's the objectively better game, fuck you, or Dota's the objectively better game, fuck you. Like they bring different experiences, and I have enjoyed playing both of them. Personally, League's the game that I keep coming back to over and over and over again. But like whenever Dota's having a big tournament, like I always like to go watch it. I think that Dota teaches you there's so much adaptation in Dota, right? Because the items aren't built for the stats like they are in League of Legends. The items are built for the actives. And the champion or hero variety is so much wider in Dota than it is in League just because of the way the game works with having super hard counter picks. Like, you know, if I pick Phantom Lancer and you pick Earthshaker, then I'm going to get my shit bopped. It doesn't matter what else is happening with the other picks in that game. Like your pick, specifically hard counters my pick just because of a certain interaction between the abilities. And because that exists, you have a lot more viable characters just because they can be hard counter picks to other ones. They can make certain compositions work really well. And then, like I say, the way you play the character can drastically change from game to game because of the fact that you're building different active items and you're playing it in a different way. Whereas League of Legends, I think, has much more. It goes back to what I was talking about earlier, to where you don't have. I honestly would hate to play a support in Dota. I'd be lying to you guys if I told you I didn't dodge every game that I got stuck on support in Dota, because this shit is awful. Like, you get 5,000 into the game, your carry takes all the money, he doesn't even say thank you. He's just like, get back bottom lane and pull my creeps. It's like, what the hell do you think you're doing? Not freaking pulling more creeps into the jungle for me. And it's like, it's totally thankless. It's awful. It's like worse than back when League of Legends supports was ground boot and ward stacking. Like, it's the same thing. So League of Legends, I think you get a better experience as a team. And you also, like, the mechanical abilities of some of the stuff in League of Legends, I think is super intense compared to some of the counterparts in Dota. Because a lot of the stuff in Dota is, with the exception of, like, Invoker, there's a lot of point and click stuff. And in League, I think there's a lot more cool individual outplay things that you can see from certain characters. Obviously, there's some in Dota that have a lot of that too, but I feel like there's more of it in League.
Yeah, I mean, for me, my thing is just I like the way League of Legends looks better. Like when I'd seen Dota, I played a little bit of Dota too, but it was hard for me to get into it because it just seemed like such a clusterfuck. Like so many things would start flying off everywhere, and like the ranges of the abilities, like I'd see champions just come in from like a mile away. It's like, what the fuck is going on? It's like
2K range.
Yeah, like I'd have no idea what the hell was going on. So for League, yeah, it's a lot. I just like the way it looks, the way it feels a lot better. And I don't know specifically for how it is in Dota 2, but yeah, I kind of prefer the fact that there is no, I guess, turn speed or whatever it's called, just because as an AD, it feels like I can do a lot more in terms of like mechanical gameplay, like kiting shit out, like those kind of turning on a dime jukes and all that kind of stuff. Like, I don't know how it works in Dota, if people can just juke skill shots as fluidly as they do in League of Legends, but I
don't think it's as fluid. That's what I was saying earlier, is I just think League has more of that mechanical outplay, like, oh my god, blink of an eye type shit.
Yeah. Like, I definitely think that shit feels a lot better for me. But, Sky, you got anything?
Just a couple things. I think that, one, the game is foremostly the highest variance MOBA on the market. So, I talked to a Riot game designer about this, because apparently all the Riot game developers actually play other games just for ideas, all that kind of stuff. And when you have on the mobile market, I'll just throw out the games I'm more that I'm most knowledgeable about. So I play a lot of HOTS, I play a lot of League, and I used to play Dota, Han, and we're talking about Dota too. So in HOTS, it's the lowest amount of variance. Like every game will be about the same, because you can't really get that much of a lead on the other player. Like you're getting 3-level leads, and this is if you're smashing the other team. And then in League, it's the middle ground between Dota and HOTS. You can get big leads, you can go 9-1, you can win the game, but there's still for the most part, it's kept neutral. You're not gonna have those crazy 9-0 games every game or 0-9 games every game. Whereas in Dota, dude, just look at our score lines from when we played. Shifter literally went 1-17. We averaged 13 deaths a game. Dude, if you get your shit pushed in Dota, you get your shit pushed in Dota.
Yeah, dude.
You are on the floor and you're begging them to stop hitting your ass, and you just keep taking them. So that game itself is super high variance. You'll have the greatest of carry moments and the worst, the absolute worst of getting just completely destroyed.
Alright, fair enough. My man, Danny wants to know, at Captain Flowers, if you had to cast any game other than League of Legends, what would it be?
It would probably be Dota too, TBH. That or just do some really big memey shit, cast I don't know, some anime weed games or some shit just as a joke. One time one of my friends, I was hanging out with one of my friends, and one of my other friends got in one of those weird ass anime dating simulators on Steam as a joke.
Wait, you called them weird ass anime dating simulators? Dude, people, that's just people's life, dude. And you just
whatever.
Those stupid Chinese cartoon, whatever the fuck those things are, dude. Come on, man.
Well, he got him one. And then my friend was drunk at the time, so he just immediately starts playing it right there. So I just started casting him playing this thing, hitting on all these anime girls and giving them, I don't know, whatever the presents were. You had to buy them a sushi, and then they were like, "Thanks, let's go on a date." So it was a really surreal experience, but it was fun.
Surreal experience. I like that. That's a good description. I would enjoy watching you cast some of that. That would be a treat.
Tell you what, Keepa, you go buy Hoonie Pop or some shit like that.
Hell no. This is off topic, but that's everything that's fucking wrong with Steam now, is I open Steam and I look at the new releases and it's damn, I can't wait to check out this sick ass game that's coming up. And it's just some of that shit I see, I'm just
it's so bad.
Yeah.
Fidget spinner simulator.
Dude, I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about every fucking time there's some just, that stuff's not made for children, dude. And it's just right there in front of me. I'm come on, man. Think of the kids that are using Steam. That shit's.
There was a Humble Bundle the other day that was Sakura Games Humble Bundle, and every one of them was these really questionable visual novels, just there on the front page.
Yeah,
are you kidding?
Yeah, don't get me wrong, dude. I love that shit. I live for that shit. I'll enjoy that in my privacy, but don't put it on my Steam, dude. Put it somewhere that I have to download it in private. I don't want my friends to see that I'm online right now playing fucking whatever the fuck those games are. I don't want that shit, man. That stuff's...
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Let me see. We'll go with one more question. So I'll make sure to choose a nice, juicy one.
Oh, baby.
Yo, Scott, feel free to help me choose one because I have some trouble scrolling through Discord sometimes.
Because there's so many people asking questions?
Yeah, it's because people...
Because they're asking some really great questions.
Yeah, they're asking killer questions. Of course they're going to ask the killer questions.
Like questions like, who do you think is the weakest link on Delta Fox?
Skara. Without a doubt. Next question. Dude, just quick fire around. If those are the questions, dude, just keep them coming one after another. I can answer
What the heck? I want a question that applies to all three of them. I don't want a pointed question that just any of us. We should end this on a bang. A really nice question.
Yeah, top tier. The S tier question.
Yeah, don't let me down, Skara.
This is really a question that's so fun. I can't say that one.
Okay.
That's
you just
terrible.
Start laughing at it and now get us
Yeah,
wondering.
you got us all
I'm gonna be
hyped up.
stuck with a thinking emoji all day for that.
No, I can't say it, dude. They're all just really great questions. I just have a really hard time choosing between all of these fantastic. Kitty, how did you choose between all these fantastic questions?
Dude, I know that the people always ask what the people want. You know what? I'm just gonna I'll choose this question right here. Pops, this is a good question. What do you guys think about the League of Legends collegiate scene? And are they relevant at all? So I want to say, I love the collegiate scene idea. If it could, I feel like if the collegiate scene could ever get to a point where people actually gave a shit about it, it would make this game, because ultimately, I don't know how you guys feel about it. I want people to be able to make, a career playing this game, because I think that, playing this game, people put their blood, sweat, and tears into becoming the best at this game, and I feel like they should be rewarded with it, and if the collegiate scene could ever get off the ground, that would work for it. Is it relevant right now? I don't really think so. I know that there is, some stuff out there for collegiate players, but I don't think that it's anywhere near what it should be at, and I don't honestly think that there's any way that they could make it relevant, because I just don't know how the fuck that could work, but I would love for it to be that.
Look, collegiate, they're the bells and whistles on the thing, you know? It's nice to have. It's great to have. I love collegiate as well. But it's only, good if the actual professional scene is good. So if the professional scene is just great, everyone's watching it, it's killing it, huge growth, all this stuff. Collegiate becomes better by just because it's attached to it. And you're like, wow, they even have a collegiate scene. And it's doing great as well, right? But especially right now when we're switching to franchising and all this stuff, it's nice that collegiate exists. It's cool that they're doing stuff with it. And notice those are all the words I'm using to describe collegiate. But in the end, is it important?
Nice and cool. Scar's friend zoning collegiate.
Is it impactful? Not as much as you would like if you're a collegiate player. It's really secondary, to be honest. It's not gonna make or break it, but if you it's nice to have.
I think it's something that I'm personally glad that we have, because it's something that in time can grow into a seriously ridiculous experience. And I mean that in a good way, if given the time to grow. And if, like you said, Scara, we have a top tier infrastructure that's doing really well and just succeeding by leaps and bounds, and then the collegiate thing can grow and prosper under that. I would love for us to get to the point where collegiate esports, I mean, this is a pipe dream, but it's collegiate esports gets as big as collegiate regular sports. And you got dudes out there having tailgate parties, freaking painting themselves the colors of their college and throwing keggers because their team's going all the way to the collegiate League of Legends finals. That would be sick. And I would love to see that. And there's already currently some collegiate teams that are starting to make a name for themselves. They've got scholarships, and you've seen the ones that have been able to do well, at our collegiate championships so far. But I think it's still such a new thing that a lot of schools still aren't taking it seriously. I played flex queue with my friends drunk at 2:00 in the morning and beat some collegiate team flex queues because they're
Oh, dude, just call him out, man. Who was it?
No,
What team?
we're not naming names here. But they lost to the drunk LA Zoo clan, so.
Yeah, like I love the collegiate thing, and I mean, because from where I started with League of Legends, I was just a fucking loser that played League of Legends all day. So like, if I could have had the opportunity to transition that from like high school to like a collegiate scene League of Legends thing, I'd be fucking all for that. I don't know how important it is. Yeah, maybe it's not that important until the rest of the infrastructure is like completed, but I feel like it could help if they put a little more into it. But I mean, again, it's like the challenger scene. Like, realistically, I think the challenger scene's a great idea. That shit, no one gave a shit about it. So, will it happen with the collegiate scene too? I hope not, but...
See, I think the thing that might save collegiate is the fact that there's a lot of, like, school loyalty and school fandom built into it. Like, a lot of challenger teams, nobody really knows who the orgs are and stuff like that because they're trying to make a name for themselves. And even though nobody is really going to know who the players are from, like, collegiate teams, especially if you have a big team that's, like, maybe well-known in traditional college sports or something like that, then maybe you can have something sprout up from that where they're like, oh, we're competing in something else. And you might be able to at least start the kindling for a following with that, you know? I don't know. That's what I'm banking on, is hoping that traditional college fandoms are able to kind of inspire that and lead the way for that.
Yeah, I think if that could happen, I'd be real happy. Hopefully it does. But that's going to conclude the Beyond the Rift for today. I want to give a big shout out. Big shout out, first of all, Skara. Skara, I love having you here, man. Every day, fantastic. Well, thanks for being here. Where can they find you if they want more of you?
They can find me on Twitch or Twitter. That's my two biggest platforms under Skara. I'll be streaming right after this in a couple minutes as well. So twitch.tv/Skara. I'll see some of you there. Probably like one person.
Captain
I'll be there,
Flowers,
Skara.
dude, you got him, dude. That's all you need. I want to give a shout out to my boy, the Captain. Thank you for joining us. And if the people want more of you, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at CaptainFlowers2. Sadly, the original Captain Flowers is taken by an egg, which is unlucky. But on Captain Flowers 2 on Twitter, and you can also find me on the regular NALCS broadcasts every weekend of the regular season on Twitch. And also, I'll be doing the play-in stages and part of the group stages upcoming for Worlds this year.
And I want to give a big thank you to everyone tuning in. Make sure to tune in next week. Lots of hard-hitting gameplay analysis. The only place you're going to find, or one of the many places that you're going to find it, but the only place you're going to want to find it on Beyond the Rift. From us to you, I want to say thank you for joining us.
Thanks a lot, guys. Thank you, Skara. Thank you, Cutie.
See you later, everyone.
Yep. Peace, guys.